Joining me live in the studio is Wilson Asset Management founder Geoff Wilson. Geoff, you played a big part in skewering Bill Shorten's prime ministerial aspirations. You weren't happy with what he was planning. What do you think of the two major parties today ahead of the May 3 election?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. In terms of the policies they've come out with so far. There's not much in the way of structural reform, and that's what we need. Like the two, whether it's a slight reduction in tax rate, which will be lost in bracket creep, or whether it's the fuel excise. Interestingly, the people I'm talking to, even the younger people, are preferring the fuel excise. But all that is that's just a sugar hit. They're both sugar hits. And what we need some real structural reform. So
when you talk structural reform, are you largely talking about just mixing and upturning the tax system? Is that your view?
Well, we've got to increase productivity, otherwise we'll keep going backwards. And the problem is,
do you do that via the tax system? Is that the big lever?
Definitely. Like it's got to be significant, and it's got to be bipartisan, and the tax system does need reforming. Back in 2018-19, Shorten and Bowen, they had a really unfair, illogical franking credit policy. What sort of disturbed me about the current government is before the last election, they came out and said that they won't do anything to franking. And in 2023, during this last term, they broke that promise, and they have changed the franking system. So it's actually a disadvantage. If you're an Australian company, it's a disadvantage to be listed on the stock market. You're better off to being private. And what concerns me for this election is there's no talk about franking. So if Labor win, and I know the odds are saying at the moment, it looks like Labor will win with a majority, then they'll probably do something to the franking system, which is pretty much the lifeblood of supporting corporate Australia at the moment.
And what's underpinning your concern, I guess, as well, is a lack of... you explained to our viewers, is it a lack of courage now in policy making? Is that what you're worried about?
Yeah,
and
correct.
To be open with the Australian people about what's needed?
Correct. Yeah, I think so. And so these great sugar hits, who's going to pay for it? It's someone else has to pay. Like everyone's getting a benefit, but you can't keep kicking the can down the road forever. So we have to be more productive.
And do you think the Australian people would get on board with a program like John Howard took back for the 1998 election? A brave move by him?
Brave, yeah.
Do you think the Australian people would get in behind a leader that showed that ticker?
Well, the tough thing is, people tend to go for the hip pocket nerve, and in terms of trying to get re-elected, and the question, maybe unfortunately, like in terms of the policies that Shorten took to the 19 election, like they were bold policies. The fact is, some of them were badly thought out. But you need someone like that, but unfortunately, it's probably it's politically dangerous.
What about Trump?
To do that?
Trump's been bold.
Exactly. Well, you do get rewarded for being bold. And he did get rewarded. Yes.
Your shareholders, just finally, how are your shareholders and your clients feeling? Because while really Donald Trump was rewarded, there is a lot of uncertainty internationally.
In terms of the market, but in terms of, I think we've just been here today at Canberra seeing a couple of hundred of our shareholders, and they are very concerned because one of the policies that if Labor win, it looks like they're going to try to bring back to the table, which it's already passed one house, just been blocked at the Senate, is the tax on unrealised capital gains, and like that is that could be a significant negative for any risk capital in Australia. So it's another sort of negative for the potential investment in risk capital or in companies in Australia.